AEW president and head of creative Tony Khan is taking a lot of heat from the internet this week for hugging his fucking talent in the post-fight press conference. Take a look at this clip.
Claudio is all elite. It's true. Thank you so much. Dude. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. CD. Big W. Big W. Thank you. See you soon, man. See you, I hope. Yeah. Manchester City.
Why is everybody up his ass about this? It's weird. Okay. I'll give you that. It's weird. But Tony's a weird guy. He's awkward. He's quirky. If you ever watched an interview with this guy, I don't know why everybody hates Tony Khan so much. There's a pinch of jealousy because he's our age, roughly, give or take, of the same generation of the die-hard 18 to 40 wrestling fan. He's smart and rich and didn't really earn it necessarily, so he's got the opportunity to kind of do what we wish we could. I don't know. And he's kind of a dork, right? He's a huge dork. He's nerdy is cool, like this shirt. This shirt's nerdy as fuck. This Thor hammer here, this is nerdy as fuck. That Harry Potter thing in the background there, that's nerdy as fuck. If you can see it, it's not cut off by my graphic, but nerdy can be cool, but Tony's a dork. And to me, dork's a little bit more, let's just say dorky, right? And you can't quite describe it, but look at the guy. And he's very eccentric, and he's very hyper, coked up would be another word. On cocaine would be another way to look at it, possibly. At least a whole lot of caffeine. Look at this man from when he started. Go back and look at the initial AEW press conferences and stuff. He had the glasses, I think, for a little bit. But he always had the tie, and his hair was nice and clean and stuff. Now he looks like he's been on a fucking bender for for months at a time, if not years. But Tony's very quirky, very quirky. The things that he says, the way that he talks. He came out multiple times in Detroit for Blood and Guts to talk to the crowd, and every time he's a madman. My buddy that I went with is a casual fan, and he was kind of laughing at Tony quite a bit. Just the way he says things, he's a goof, but in that's gonna carry over to his eccentric personality and the way that he carries himself, and just the hugging and the hugging's an extension of that. And look, dude, the guy's happy. They put on a killer show. He's living his dream. He's thankful that these guys are out there putting their bodies on the line, making him a shit ton of money. So yeah, he's gonna hug him. You know what? I'd hug him too. Maybe backstage and not on camera though. But look, I mean, there's plenty of footage of Vince McMahon out there hugging wrestlers, when they come through Gorilla and stuff. He's giving them a hug. We even see pictures of Vince tearing up and shit when he's hugging people. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just another weird, quirky Tony Khan thing, and the way that he did it too. It's not just Vince is a very fatherly, come here, son. And Tony's was very oh, you did so good. Oh, it was almost like a girlfriend, I love you type. Never leave me again. Oh, I missed you so much. But come on, guys, this made a lot of news this week, enough where I wanted to address it and at least have a little fun with it. Can we acknowledge that Tony Khan's a weird, quirky, eccentric dork of a man, but he's also at least for me, he has my respect. He's earned it. He has done enough. At this point, we're well into our third year, maybe even heading to our fourth year of AEW. No signs of slowing down. So he's already like, he's not like a greenhorn at this point. You know, he's been running this business for almost 4 years now. Respect where respect is due. Like, they just fucking jam packed Little Caesars Arena, put on the damnedest fucking cage match I've seen in who knows how long. Props to Tony Khan. You know, he's got all this great talent under his roster. People will love to hate him, and he's come up in the era of internet and all of that, and he also has, you know, like I said before, the fact that he's our age roughly. Like, Tony Khan, I think, is my exact age. So he's a peer. So when I look at him, it's like, you motherfucker, he's leaps and bounds more successful than I am. But and you're bound to look at people your age with I don't look up to anybody my age. Probably nobody younger than me, other than I do very much look up to Mr. Beast, who's just younger, much younger than I am. Um, but you know, I'm not gonna look up to Tony Khan. But remember, when Vince started, he was the age of the wrestlers, and he was all the guys' pals and stuff, and he'd go out drinking with them and stuff like that. Vince was not unlike Tony Khan in the 80s. When he took over WWF from his dad, he was very Tony Khan. He was green. He had been an announcer, and his dad ran the business, so he was around it. So at least he had that credibility going into it. But it's not like Vince was booking all the shows, and plus he went a completely different approach than his dad was doing anyway. So even if he was watching his dad was booking fucking Madison Square Garden and the Boston Garden and shit like that, like, you know, like every week. You know, he's just on the weekends or something, there's another show. What he turned WWF into was way different than what his dad was doing, so that was his own trail that he blazed anyway. You know, Tony's not necessarily a trailblazer in that sense. You know, he's almost like a Eric Bischoff 2.0 in a lot of ways. This is just WWE. This is WCW history repeating itself, and actually kind of mixed with Paul Heyman in a way. Not the genius of Heyman, but the just the eccentricness and I guess the edge, the rebelliousness. But no, I mean, you know, Vince was a young guy too. You know, people didn't look up to Vince back then. People looked up to his dad. They thought he was the kid. A lot of people you know, he banned the word junior because a lot of the older vets and stuff would call him junior. Because that's how they knew him. Like, hey, Junior, you know, like your Freddie Blassies and your Lou Albanos and shit like that. Those people didn't respect Vince McMahon. Not Junior. Hell no, they didn't. But over the years, you know, when Vince was 10 years in and 20 years in, and suddenly he's more prominent, he's more successful, he's been at this a long time. People are more intimidated by him now because he's a proven success and he carries himself, and everybody's younger than him and everybody's eager to get a chance. But there was a time where everybody looked down on him and thought of him as just like, this punk kid, he's gonna ruin the business and blah 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 blah. So everybody's shitting on Tony Khan now. Dude, 10 years, 20 years, if AEW's still a thing and it's not the rise and fall of AEW on WWE Network on Peacock, then it's going to be, Tony's going to have a whole lot of fucking respect by a whole lot of people. And he may end up being the man in professional wrestling once Vince is gone. That's another thing, you guys, you know, that I don't think's really been discussed or even thought of all that much. When Vince, whatever happens with Vince, when Vince ends up passing away or just, you know, being completely out of the business creatively and all of that, whoever ends up heading WWE, unless it's like Stephanie and Hunter, which it very well could be with Logan Paul, but if they end up selling to Disney or something, and they end up getting some other execs or something, you know, at some point, Tony Khan is going to be the OG boss man in professional wrestling. It's interesting to think about. I mean, hell, there's a world in this multiverse that exists where where Tony Khan buys WWE. We know WWE is possibly up for sale. We know Tony Khan has a proven success running professional wrestling, at least for the last couple years. And he has the connections, I'm sure, to raise the capital to buy WWE when it comes for sale. He probably won't, but I mean, it's a possibility. So, all I'm saying is Tony Khan's a hugger. It's weird. He's a weird guy. He's a creepy dork. But I think he deserves a lot more respect than the internet likes to give him. And I think that's something that'll grow in time as Tony Khan just continues to exist and establish himself and himself become a veteran of the business.
Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.